Ever feel like your to-do list is like a mile long? And no matter how much you do, there's always more, you know?
Oh, tell me about it.
It can be so exhausting, right?
Right.
Like constantly trying to cram in just one more thing.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for ways to manage time better, squeeze in a few more minutes here and there. But
Right.
what if we've been approaching it all wrong?
Mm.
Like, what if instead of managing time, the real key is managing our energy?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful concept. And that's exactly what we're diving deep into today.
Okay.
This idea comes from a book called The Power of Full Engagement, and it totally changed how I think about productivity.
Cool.
So instead of wishing we had more hours in the day, which we can't really control, this book is all about harnessing and managing the energy we do have,
Okay.
which, by the way, is something we absolutely can control.
That's so important. We think we can't control our energy, but we absolutely can. And it starts with understanding the four key dimensions of energy.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What are the four key dimensions of energy?
All right, so we've got physical energy, emotional energy, mental energy, and spiritual energy.
Okay, so it's like a holistic view of energy.
Exactly. You need all four of these working together to really be firing on all cylinders, you know? The book uses this great analogy of a car. It needs all four wheels to function properly,
Okay,
right?
so if one tire's flat, the whole thing's going to struggle.
Exactly. You might be able to limp along for a little while, but you're not going to get very far. And it's the same with our energy.
That makes total sense.
Okay.
Okay, so let's break down each of these energy dimensions. First up, physical energy. I mean,
Yeah.
this one seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's the foundation, right? Think about it like this. Sleep, exercise, nutrition, all the things that keep our bodies running smoothly.
Okay, so the basics, stuff we hear about all the time.
Exactly. But it's easy to overlook them. We can get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of life that we neglect our basic needs. But if you imagine your body's like a phone and that battery icon starts flashing red. Oh, I hate that.
Right, that's when you know you need to plug in and recharge.
Makes sense. I know, I definitely feel it. When I haven't slept enough or haven't been eating well, it's like my brain's running on fumes.
Absolutely. You can't expect to operate at your best if you're running on empty.
Okay, so physical energy, that's our foundation.
Yeah.
But it's not just about physical strength, right? There's also the emotional side of things.
You got it. Emotional energy is all about our feelings, our relationships, how we handle stress. You know how sometimes you encounter those energy vampires in your life?
Ooh, yeah, I know a few.
Right. The people who just drain you emotionally, leaving you feeling exhausted and depleted.
It's like they suck the life right out of you.
Exactly. And the book really emphasizes the importance of nurturing those positive relationships. You know, the ones that energize and uplift you.
It's true. Spending time with people who make you feel good can be such a mood booster.
Totally. And on the flip side, learning how to effectively manage stress is key. That means setting boundaries, learning to say no, and developing healthy coping mechanisms. Makes sense. I know when I'm feeling emotionally drained, my productivity just goes out the window.
Oh, absolutely. It's like trying to run a marathon with a heavy weight on your shoulders.
Okay, so we've covered physical and emotional energy. Next up, mental energy. I think this one is super important in our fast-paced, always-on world.
It is, and it's more than just avoiding distractions.
Right, it's like deeper than that.
Yeah, mental energy is about focus, clarity, directing our cognitive resources in a way that's effective and efficient.
So, like, being able to really concentrate and get things done.
Exactly. The book talks about techniques like mindfulness and time boxing, where you set aside a specific amount of time for a particular task and really focus on it without distractions.
I've heard of that. Never actually tried it, though.
It can be super helpful. Think of it like optimizing your computer's RAM for peak performance. When you have too many tabs open, everything slows down.
Right, well, my computer does that all the time.
Right. But when you close those unnecessary tabs, things run much smoother.
Okay, I see the connection. So it's about decluttering our mental space.
Exactly. And being more intentional with how we use our mental energy.
Okay, so that's three down. Physical, emotional, mental. What about the last one? Spiritual energy. This one initially threw me off a bit. I wasn't sure how it fit into productivity.
Yeah, it's a little less tangible than the others.
Right, it sounds a bit woo-woo.
I get it. But think of spiritual energy as the fuel that drives us forward. It's about connecting to our purpose, finding meaning in our work, aligning our actions with our values.
Okay, so it's like the why behind what we do.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
that sense of fulfillment that keeps us engaged and motivated, even when facing challenges.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. It's like when you're passionate about something, you just have this extra energy, this drive to keep going.
Exactly. And without that spiritual energy, it's easy to feel lost, aimless, and burnt out.
Okay, that's super insightful. Now, one thing that really stood out to me in the book was this idea of 90-minute work sprints followed by breaks. It sounds counterintuitive.
Oh.
Wouldn't we get more done by just pushing through and working straight through?
Right. I thought so too. But the authors argue that our energy naturally ebbs and flows throughout the day, so we have these natural peaks and valleys in our energy levels.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I definitely have times when I'm feeling super productive and then other times when I just hit a wall.
exactly. And pushing through fatigue, it actually leads to diminishing returns. It's like a runner hitting the wall during a marathon. They might be able to keep going, but their pace slows down drastically, and it takes a toll on their body.
So it's about working smarter, not harder.
Precisely. By working in these 90-minute sprints and then taking breaks, we're allowing ourselves to recharge and come back to our work with renewed focus and energy.
I actually tried this out myself, and I was amazed by the difference. Yeah, I used to try to power through my work, just sit there for hours until I was completely burnt out.
I've been there.
But then I experimented with this 90-minute sprint technique, and I was so much more focused during those 90 minutes. And then the breaks, they allowed me to come back feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the next sprint.
That's fantastic. And it highlights how those breaks aren't just about resting, they're about actively replenishing all four energy dimensions.
Right, so it's not just about zoning out on social media for a few minutes.
Exactly. A short walk can boost your physical energy. A quick chat with a friend can lift your emotional energy. A few minutes of meditation can enhance your mental focus. And reconnecting with your why, your purpose, can reignite that spiritual energy.
So it's about taking strategic breaks to recharge those specific energy dimensions. That's so smart.
It is. And it all ties back to that car analogy. You wouldn't drive your car until it completely ran out of gas, would you? You'd stop and refuel along the way, right?
Right. I mean, that's just common sense.
Exactly. It's the same with our energy. We need to refuel regularly to keep going strong.
So the big takeaway here is that managing our energy is the key to sustainable productivity. It's about working with our natural rhythms, not against them.
And it's incredibly empowering because instead of feeling like we're constantly at the mercy of time, we can take control of our energy and direct it towards what matters most.
Yeah, that's really resonating with me. This whole conversation has been a real eye-opener. I'm feeling much more energized and optimistic about tackling my to-do list now.
That's awesome. And remember, it's not about being perfect or never feeling tired or stressed. It's about being more mindful of our energy and making choices that support us in the long run.
So instead of being overwhelmed by time, we can be energized by our lives.
Exactly. What if we could shift our perspective from feeling drained to feeling energized? That's the power of full engagement.
I love that. It's a powerful reminder that we have more control over our energy than we realize, and that by managing our energy effectively, we can achieve more, feel better, and live more fulfilling lives.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has been incredible. There's so much to unpack when it comes to energy management, and I encourage you to explore it further and see what changes you can make in your own life. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.